candidate, Donald Trump. You know, Mr. Trump, my question is really simple. This is a president that said hours before this attack in Paris that ISIS was contained. He referred to them as the JV team. He's talked about, or administration officials have talked about, overseas contingency operations and workplace violence. And meanwhile, this keeps happening again and again, and he can't say radical Islam. And now he's going to take in 10,000 Syrian refugees, even though our intelligence officials warn us that ISIS will infiltrate that population. How do you process this?
I mean, personally, I don't think he was meant for this job. You want to know the truth. The temperament is wrong. I watched that disastrous news conference yesterday. It was insulting. He wasn't angry at the killers, the murderers, the animals that did this horrible thing. He was angry at reporters, and I think some of the Republicans, frankly. Yeah. But he was angry at the reporters, and I just don't think it's not for him. And unfortunately, we will have to suffer with it. But this job is not for him. That was a terrible performance yesterday and an embarrassment to the country.
The National Intelligence, the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, said ISIS, it's likely they will infiltrate the refugee population. The State Department spokesman John Kirby has said as much. The Assistant FBI Director, the FBI Director James Comey, Michael Steinbach, Mike McCall said, the House Homeland Security Chairman. And here's more people warning that ISIS will infiltrate the Syrian population. Here's what they said.
The concern is in Syria, the lack of our footprint on the ground in Syria, that the databases won't have the information we need. So it's not that we have a lack of process, there's a lack of information.
And that obviously raises grave concern as to being able to do proper background checks of the individuals coming into the country.
Yes.
I don't obviously put it past the likes of ISIL to infiltrate operatives among these refugees.
We can only query against that which we have collected. And so if someone has never made a ripple in the pond in Syria in a way that would get their identity or their interests reflected in our database, we can query our database till the cows come home, but we're not going to, there'll be nothing show up because we have no record on that person.
There is some fear that some of these refugees may actually be posing as refugees, but they might